Mercy, you're in my video. Peace, beautiful people. I am back with another video. I just was like in a video kind of mood. I just woke up and felt like recording, so I figured I would come on and say hey. As you can see, as always, this like fur situation is Mercy in the background. This is the usual. It's morning time, so I'm gonna eat some breakfast. For breakfast today, I have, what do you all call it? A papaya. In Barbados, we call it a papaw. So yeah, a papaw, a papaya. Yeah, that's what I'm eating for breakfast. So I figured I would come on and multitask, eat some breakfast. I also thought it would be kind of a fun video to talk about. I think I wrote down some things. That's my little notebook. So I decided to, you know, actually be a little more organized and try to write something down so I don't just ramble. Probably still gonna ramble, but there are notes as well. But I think it's gonna be maybe about 5 reasons to start your locks from scratch. But yeah, so 5 reasons that it's nice to start from scratch. And what I mean from scratch is, if you all saw my my first video sharing my lock journey, I will be sure to like put that in the cards for you all so you can check it out. But I showed that before this I had a different set of locks actually, and I started it again because I wanted to start from scratch. So yeah, I recommend the experience, and I'm going to tell you some reasons why I think it's a cool idea. So like first and foremost, reason number 1 I wrote down is just a fresh start. And I say that in the sense of, oh, by the way, guys, do you all eat the seeds of this? Like when you eat a papaya, do you eat the seeds? I do. So I'm just gonna save them for later. Yeah, I recommend them. They're good. Especially if you like cook them in food, they're good. But yeah, already getting distracted. On a roll, guys. Starting from like just a fresh start. And I say that in this sense of like the idea of having healthy locks as well. Like my logic with that is any damage that you've experienced, like when you have hair and you start your locks, you're just essentially bringing whatever's happened to that hair along your journey. But when you have a fresh start and you start from scratch, everything's healthy, everything's good. You don't have to worry about dryness, split ends, damage, because it's brand new hair. Also, as a lot of us know, locks is a protective style, and so if you start from scratch, your hair is growing into the locks right away, so it's not being damaged because it's essentially growing into a protective style. Let's see, reason number 2, experiencing all the stages. And this for me, this is one of the reasons that I restarted my locks and started this journey, is because I started my hair the first time from like, I don't know, pretty decent length hair. In that same lock journey video, you can see where my hair was before I started that set. But yeah, I felt some type of way that I didn't, and I know this might seem weird to some people because a lot of people want to avoid it, but I felt some type of way that I didn't get to go through all of the stages. I wanted to go through the like short stage where your locks look like an afro and they're doing different things. I wanted to see it progress and grow out, as well as like becoming locks. So that's something that's really nice, is you actually get to experience every single stage. And I also notice, I feel like a lot of people throughout their journeys, they feel like they missed out on certain things, and that's why they end their lock journeys and start over, or just end their lock journeys, is because they either miss their natural hair, they say, they miss their curls. And with going through the whole journey, I don't feel like I missed my loose natural hair, because I was able to spend a significant amount of time in the transition from loose to locked. I'm like a year and 4 months in, and I still have loose hairs. I have locks now, but I really got to experience my hair throughout the journey, and just not like one day I twisted it up and like boom, I don't have loose hair anymore. So yeah, that's nice. And plus, just like seeing your hair along the journey and getting to know your hair, like that's cool. And yeah, it's something I think not to be missed. Like, you're missing out when you miss those things, in my opinion. Let's see. Also, like, I'm realizing as I'm chewing, like, comment and let me know if you guys are like, this is just a super rude video, but like, I do have things to do today and I just wanted to come on. So I know I'm like chewing and talking and it's a lot going on, but hopefully you guys are cool with it. But yeah, so reason number 3 is being able to easily see and track your growth. And that's one that I think is really cool, especially with like a lock journey, because like I said, I'm 16 months in. I know this is how long my hair grows in 16 months. I don't have to like do the math and think like, oh, it was maybe this long plus the shrinkage of locking. I just can see like this, all the hair in my head. It wasn't there, so therefore it's now there, and it grew in that time frame. So it's just easier to like track your growth rate. Also, from my last experience with locks, when you start your locks from longer hair, it's almost a totally opposite experience. Instead of seeing your hair like growing, like all the time throughout this journey, I experienced some kind of like visual growth, because again, there was nothing on my head. So even seeing any hair on my head, it was obviously growing. But yeah, when you have longer hair and it's locking, it just like shrinks. And it can shrink for a long time. Like before I restarted this set, my last set, I didn't get past like shrinking stage. So it was just constantly shrinking. And yeah, it's just harder. It's harder to see growth, and I think it's just easier to get kind of frustrated and feel like your hair is not growing, because based on the length you're accustomed to seeing, it's looking shorter. But when you're starting from a fresh start, you're constantly seeing growth, and it's really, I find it quite encouraging. But yeah, number 4. I don't know why I felt the need to say 4 and show you 4 while trying to hold the spoon and struggling. You heard me. So number 4 is more uniform locks. And I mean that in the sense of, like I said all the time, I love YouTube videos, and I love YouTube videos about locks. And I feel like everyone, as of lately, does this when they're interested in starting their lock journey, is just binging on lock videos. But yeah, I saw a lot of people when I was like in that period of life and watching a lot of people's new lock journeys on YouTube. They would start their locks. A lot of them wanted thick locks, and they would do their 2-strand twist or their coils. And the way it would start budding, because like I said, when you have long hair, it's a totally different lock process than when you start from scratch and you're just growing your locks out. And a lot of them would be deceived into thinking their locks were thicker than they actually were going to be in the long run, because of all the budding and bunching of like, because all that hair's got to tangle up, so it kind of bunches together, and it's a little more ball-like than the rest of your hair that is just growing out into the locks and with time gravity hanging down. So it's more uniform. So I found a lot of people in those situations, they would have like at the ends, they would have really thick locks, but the hair that grew out from that point, so like after they set their hair however they set it to lock, after that the hair that grew out after would always be thinner. So it was kind of that deception, and I think that sucks. Like, I would hate to start my lock journey and have a vision, if you are someone who has a particular vision, and then months, even like years down the line, like a couple years, when your actual loose hair has fully locked and you're starting to see the new growth, like, be disappointed because your locks are thinner. You have short hair and it's growing out. Once your hair grows out and it's budding, that's the size it's gonna be. Like, that's a bad example because there's beads on it. But if you look at my locks, and this is, bear in mind, I don't retwist or anything, guys. But now that they've come together, I think most of them are pretty uniform. Even the ones that have like multiple little pieces on the end, they still look uniform. They're not like thick at the ends and thin at the roots. They're just the same size all the way along. And I think that, yeah, it's just, if you start your locks from scratch, there's a higher likelihood that your locks will be more uniform. If you disagree, think differently, want to tell me about your experience, comment below and we can talk all about it. But so yeah, what was that? I think that was number 4. So number 5 is just experiencing less frizz. And that kind of goes with number 4. I know, I'm trying to read and the glare from the sun is just really bright on the paper. So I'm having a hard time seeing the white paper. But yeah, less frizz kind of goes to what I was saying about number 4 with having more uniform locks. Of when you start from scratch, your locks are just more uniform and less frizzy in the sense of as they grow out, they're going into the lock. It's not loose hair that needs to bunch up. So when you have locks that you start from longer hair, sometimes the long strands are not intertwined in your lock, so they will stick out and poke out different places. And obviously if your hair is longer and it's like sticking out of the strand, it's going to appear more frizzy. And I also say that in the sense of when you have long hair, it takes a long time for your hair to fully incorporate into the lock, so it's going to be sliding out, but you don't have to train your hair really when it's like starting from scratch. So basically what I'm trying to say, because I'm not really making sense, is when you start your hair from scratch, when it's growing out, it's growing into the lock. Whether you twist it or you don't, like me, it's growing into the lock and it knows what to do. It's not hair that's already been on your head that's trying to figure out like, wait a second, what's happening? Like you used to brush me and all these things and now you're just leaving me. So your hair is in that kind of transitional state. No, your hair, especially if you're somebody who looks like me in certain ways, your hair naturally probably wants to lock. I have what some people consider 4C hair as far as like hair typing is concerned, but like I'm honestly not into that and I don't think that makes sense because everyone's hair is different. But yeah, I'm in the like 4C category, and so that kind of textured hair, it wants to lock. So when it grows out from your scalp and you're immediately allowing it to lock, it really adheres to that and does its thing quite naturally, and it results to me in a more uniform, far less frizzy, because those short hairs, they're growing into your lock and they're short, so they're not really poking out. I hope I'm making sense. If I'm not, I'll try to explain this further, but like there really is a method to my madness. And also I'll say along with the like uniformity and less frizz, your ends, I find, I'm gonna try to show you guys. I'm just like leaning all over my fruit, but it's fine. I find your ends tend to be like less wispy or frizzy, I'd almost even say. Like a lot of my locks, and again, I didn't do any maintenance, but they're very like blunted. Some people would be like, they're not blunted. If you're into the like manicured look, I know they might not seem blunted to you, but I'd say my locks are fairly blunted, and I think that's because from the beginning, the little bit of hair on my head when I first started growing them out is the ends of my locks, and so that was all the hair I had to like start budding and forming. So as opposed to being loose and wispy when you have longer hair and the middle kind of bunches up, all I had at a certain point was the ends of my locks. So once those formed, they just like really budded and were blunted, and yeah, it just creates a more naturally uniform look. The conclusion I want to say is that there's just, in my opinion, no journey that is quite like a lock journey from scratch. Like, also, if you're somebody like me, this is my little extra, throw it in there, number 6. The 6th reason is because there's just something nice about a bald head, and for everybody, but if you're a female and you've never experienced a bald head, it is an amazing journey. I highly recommend you go through the experience, and there's just nothing like it. It's just so freeing and so liberating. And also, I'm the kind of person, I've always liked long hair or just like super short hair. So I honestly think it helps me with like sticking to my journey, not feeling any type of way about wanting to cut my hair, because I did decide when I started this set of locks that I'm not going to cut my hair anymore. So yeah, it was just nice to get that kind of final cut, to give that like last little itch, like nice little cut down baldy fade situation. So yeah, if you're one of those people who has been into the cut life, sometimes just having that one final cut before you start your journey can be awesome, so you can just persist and carry on. But yeah, enough with that, guys. I am I'm gonna keep eating my papaw, and I am going to get some crocheting done. And it's getting a little warmer. Like I said, it's first thing in the morning, guys, so probably gonna change and catch some sun and eat some fruit and do some crochet. This actually is the same piece that I was just starting when I was talking in my last video about being yarn. If you haven't seen that, I will also put that in the cards. So I don't know where it is. I don't even know why I pointed, but yeah, I'll leave that. But yeah, this is how it's coming along, so I'll show you guys. It's gonna be a beautiful top. It actually goes this way. This is the part to, you know, cover your body parts. But yeah, guys, enough of that. I hope you all have a beautiful day, whatever time of day it is, wherever you are. I certainly plan to do so out here on this gorgeous day. I look forward to hearing from you all in the comment section below, and I look forward to seeing you all in another video. All right, beautiful people, I will see you soon. Oh, enjoy the day. It's so beautiful. All right, I'm rambling. Peace.